Okay, now we're going to hear from my premiere grandma, Vicki Santi, who's been in premiere for 24 years. 24 years, starting at 5. So we're going to hear a little bit of her story and how premiere has affected and changed her life. So let's give her a really, really warm welcome.
Okay, so girls, when I started premiere back in April of 1992, some of you not been born then. I never had any idea that I was going to turn into this 23-year adventure. And actually, at my point in this life, I can't even talk right now. At this point in my life, I can't even imagine going out and doing anything else. Or working for somebody else, because I really enjoy being my own boss, and I just think that's the great thing about premiere. And I love setting my own schedule and waking up when my eyes open up in the morning. So anyway, I mean, over the years, you know, there's always been ups and downs, and I told April I was going to be really good at this talk. So there was lots of times over the years that I thought, you know, I'm going to quit this thing because it's just, you know, not working out for me, and I just am to the point where I just think, I guess I'm at the end of this. But everybody feels that way, so don't think that if you get discouraged it's time to quit, because I'm going to talk a little bit more about why you don't want to do that. But so basically I didn't let all those temporary circumstances control the future that I knew that God had for me in this business. So just to kind of start off with the basic about my premiere story. Way back in the day, I used to be a retail manager before I had children. And then I got married, and then I got pregnant, and I really knew that I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. So my husband has always had his own business, and he said to me, well, then you want to go out and work for yourself. So I really had no desire to do that, but he really insisted that I should do that. He thought I could do that. So my whole family thought I was crazy, because they've just always come from the background where you go and get a job and you work for 25, 30 years, retire, get your pension, and that's how you do life. So I was very nervous about doing something that I could call my own. But since I was thinking, well, how could I do something that would be my own business? I decided to start my own business. Because I had the retail experience, I had kids now, I thought retail plus kids equals a children's clothing business. And Al thought it was a good idea. So I'm like, okay, so I did not work for another company. I actually found a way to buy clothes from a wholesale place down in Florida, in Boca Raton, and did my own hostess plan. I had to like have my own inventory of children's clothing from infants all the way up to, I don't even remember what I had there, like maybe not teenager. I can't remember the sizes, but it went baby, toddler, and a few more after that, whatever that would be, 6X or something like that. Anyway, I worked on that for about a year, and one of my girlfriends said that she would do my taxes for me and figure all that out and see how I did. And she's like, you did pretty good in your first year. And I had done about 30 shows where I took the clothes into homes and, you know, did like the home show thing. And I said, well, how much did I really make? And she's like, you made about $900. Oh. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I didn't know. She said it was pretty good for my first year. All right, so pretty sad. Anyway, it was a lot of hard work, you know, putting all these clothes in these big Tupperware tubs. We had to go out and buy a van, because I'd like stack those tubs up, bring them into ladies' homes, hang up those clothing racks, hang them all up. I mean, night after night, you know. Well, only for 30 nights, but whatever. I mean, can you imagine? Anyway, it was so hard. So right about this time, when I'm thinking, I don't know if I'm going to continue to do this, I got invited to a jewelry party. However, it was not Premiere. It was another company out there, and I'm not going to say their name, but I was not impressed with the jewelry, the quality, or the representative, because she didn't even know her stuff very well. So got confused on the buying plan and the hostess plan and all that, so I'm like, okay. So anyway, kind of, you know, it was kind of fun to look at jewelry and stuff, but a few months later, I was invited to go with a girlfriend to a premiere show. And at that show, I really loved the jewelry. I was very impressed with the company that it was built on biblical principles. And the girl also talked about, giving money to missions, so I thought that was pretty impressive. Totally flipped out when she said 50% profit. I'm like, oh my gosh, I was not making anything close to that with my children's clothing. And she said that she was making $500 a month working one night a week. I'm like, wow, this is crazy money. So a few days later, I had her and her husband come share the information with my husband and I. And they both actually went into a lot more than the marketing plan. And at the time, my husband was not a Christian. And they really got heavy and deep into the religious stuff. So talked about the law of the harvest and all kinds of things that my husband's like, what? This whole thing is a major scam. He didn't want me to do it. So, just a little side note, kind of be careful how far you go on, the background of the company, and don't freak people out with it. But anyway, so after I heard about the whole thing, I could not stop thinking about it. I was having those, jewelry dreams. And yeah, so I'm like, okay, can't sleep at night, keep thinking about jewelry. Couldn't sleep either because I was scared to death about getting up and speaking in front of people. Still not my favorite thing to do, truthfully. Doing, demos in front of people. I actually failed my speech class in high school. Could never get through it in college either, so this has been a very stretch of me to be able to, get up and do this. But anyway, I really believe that it was a pull of the Holy Spirit telling me that I needed to come into Premier. So Premier has really been a vehicle for our family to grow spiritually because when I first got into this, we really didn't have that kind of foundation in our marriage. So that was huge. Anyway, my why was I thought I really wanted to be home with those kids. I have two boys. They were 1 and 3 when I started. I wanted to earn that extra $500 a month because my husband, being self-employed, a lot of times there wasn't a paycheck coming in from him. So we needed to find something for me to do, and I just knew I didn't want to go back out and do retail, find somewhere to put the kids. I had no daycare options, didn't want to put them in daycare or any of that. So, but I needed that break too from my kids, as I'm sure a lot of you can relate. So wanted to make some more friends too because I had felt kind of isolated since I wasn't working. And just like the idea of being able to get out and socialize. So what I found since being in Premier is that definitely it can bring you that full-time income with just part-time hours. Because I really have never worked at a 40-hour work week. So I just always like to tell ladies at my show that you can make significant income, with just part-time hours. I was very happy that I was able to be home with my children all the way through their, younger years, being able to witness, all of the milestones that you see when they're babies, and then be active in their school and do all the sports things, with them. And at the same time, I was still bringing in money to help with those household bills that, weren't getting paid all the time. So that was good. Now, back to Al. He still really didn't know that this jewelry business was working until there was one time when he said that he wasn't going to give us a paycheck for a while, and would my jewelry business be able to pay the mortgage for a couple months? I'm like, yeah, that's no problem. I got all this money, sitting in the bank. He's like, really? So at that point, it kind of changed, and then he realized it wasn't a scam, and he had actually come with me to my my second rally. He came, and it was kind of funny for him because again, he was not a Christian. And got to meet Randy Draper, really connected with him, asked him a zillion questions about, the integrity of the company and just all this other stuff. Anyway, long story short on that, I'm kind of running off on a different tangent, but he was able to be led to the Lord by Randy Draper probably about 7 or 8 years later. So that was huge because that could have been, one of the main reasons I got in Premier to have that help my husband. So. Right. Anyway, praise God for that. So, the other thing I loved was that this company truly cares about all of us as individuals, not just how much money are we bringing in, for the company. And you don't see that, out there in corporate America. It's all about the bottom line. So here, they want to know about your life and pour into you, and it's not just all about, money. Have been super impressed with the integrity, wisdom, and the leadership of all the top people in Premier. And it's just awesome that through Premier you can achieve so much. You know, you can achieve that income you desire. You can win awesome vacations through them. The recognition is huge, you know, for a lot of us too. Of course, the relationships, and the best thing is, you know, the eternal life that you can find through the Lord. So, when I first started in Premier up in Chicagoland area, there were absolutely no training opportunities for me. So basically how I learned to do the business was I had a Premier mom, and you know, she did the show for me, and but basically she's like, here, you know, read the manual, listen to the tapes that they gave us back in the day. And there, like I said, there wasn't any organized training like this. So you guys, I hope you just know how blessed you are to have, you know, April and her whole leadership team here doing this, and you know, just pouring into you, because I had none of that. So basically what I did to get training from people in Premier was when somebody came up from Texas and was in St. Louis, because there was a little group starting to form in St. Louis, I would go there about every quarter and go to that training. Now that is 6 hours away from me. So I'm impressed. Where's the Dallas girl? Yes, I am so impressed. So, all the way. Good for you. So anyway, yeah, so it was definitely worth it. And I just, wait, I lost my train of thought here in my notes. Oh, I know what it was. Yeah, St. Louis. So anyway, like I said, I had no support. I really had no support from family or friends either, because when I switched over to Premier from the children's clothing, all of my friends that helped me kind of with the children's clothing, they're like, well, you know, now I got to help you with this jewelry thing again. You know, why are you jumping from one thing to another? So they didn't want to support me, and I kind of had to figure out, you know, again, a different way to get the shows. And so it was, you know, doing like vendor events and things like that. So anyway, I was stubborn. I wanted to prove everybody wrong that I was going to be able to do this business, even though I felt like the odds were stacked against me. But as soon as I realized I could win some of the contests from Premier and be recognized for just even the smallest little achievements, that kind of, you know, gave me a spark, and just decided, hey, I'm going to, you know, start achieving these things and, you know, receiving these awards, and just, you know, really get my momentum going. So I had so much fun with the ladies, you know, at the shows, and as I started sponsoring and, you know, building a team, I just thought, I just really can't see myself doing anything else. And thought I'd just give this a shot until my kids got into school, and then I'd go back and, you know, maybe go back to school or do a real job. But in the meantime, it just kept growing and growing in the momentum, and it just turned into this, you know, great business. And I never thought I'd, you know, stay here 23 years later. So here's just a few things that I did, trying to stick with the theme here, how to get anchored in your Premier business. So there's a ton of things, but here's 7, and then I've got 10 points that I'm going to make, and I'll be finished here. But number 1, you want to understand that you're in a business that is so much more than just a marketing plan, and it can really be a life-changing experience. The second thing is you definitely want to develop credibility within your business, develop your own personal character, trust. You need to make sure people are trusting what you say you're going to do, keep your promises. You definitely, number 3, you definitely have to work this business every single day. Do something in your business. Well, not every, I mean, it's not like you have to do it 7 days a week, but I won't tell people, you know, you need to take a day or 2 off, you know, just like in a normal job. You don't want to have it overwhelm you, but, you know, in those nooks and crannies of your day, there's little things that you can do, you know, just to keep that Premier business going. And never, ever, ever leave your house without jewelry on, because you just never know who you're going to run into, or a little packet of information, or, you know, phone numbers and things that you can text to them to give them information. Number 4, understand that God has given you worth and potential. And that really resonated with me, especially, you know, back in the beginning of the business, because I did not feel worthy of God's love, and I just heard over and over from leaders in Premier, you know, Andy and Joan and Randy and Elizabeth Draper, how God has made everybody with value and worth, and that He loves us. So I just thought that was so neat. You know, you don't hear that in corporate America. Number 5, you want to focus on serving, not selling. That's huge, and I'm sure you've heard that a lot of times from April. Understand and know your company, its philosophy, the purpose, plan, and vision. And remember that anyone can do Premier, but not everybody will. So don't let all the no's that you get discourage you. Okay, so here is 10 ways that I've stayed afloat during seasons of storms, or how I've weathered everything that has come my way in 23 years.
Woo time.
Woo! Okay, so from Proverbs 21:5, the New Living Translation says, "Good planning and hard work lead to prosperity, but hasty shortcuts lead to poverty." So you don't want to be in poverty with Premier. But, okay, number one, so you need to think about, why did you come aboard this business, or why did you come into Premier? So reflect on why you got in. And again, this is when you're feeling that you might want to quit and you're going through a season of storms. So what was your motivation when you started this business? So reflect on this often, even when you feel like quitting. And that one needs to be incorporated into your sponsoring talk that you do too, because people are curious to know, why are you doing something like this? Okay, number two, you need to make sure that you are tacking a new course, maneuvering your vessel, and navigating well through your business. Meaning, you need to be setting goals and then set new goals, because your life is going to change. You're going to meet some of your goals, so you always need to have the next ones ready to start achieving. So focus on attaining your goals and consistently work towards your new ones. And for me, I just always strive to earn the contest that Premier offers, because that's going to help you, reach a lot of those goals. But even if you don't hit all of them, you will have learned to have stretched yourself, and you've probably made money along the way too, so that's always good. Number three, you want to be your own captain. Yes. Stop comparing yourself to anyone else in your group, because your circumstances are different than everybody else's. This is probably the hardest thing for ladies in Premier, because you see some girls just shoot way up there, and you're thinking, well, I'm doing everything they're telling me to do, and it's not working. So that's okay. Focus on what you can do, and go ahead and do it. Maybe you need to look at your work ethic. Are you keeping yourself, would you keep yourself employed at a regular job, or are you lacking in your job performance the way you treat your Premier business? So you're the CEO of your own business. You need to act like it. So you might have to fire yourself and then rehire yourself. So concentrate on what you can do and go do it. Okay, number four, you don't want to become adrift in your business. So you need to find that balance, because you can easily do too much and get burned out, or do too little and neglect it and then get frustrated because your business isn't working. Well, maybe it's because you're not working your business. So keep in mind the priorities that Premier has said. They say this over and over: God, family, then your business. And keep a balance between your jewelry shows and sponsoring, because if you do enough shows, you're going to meet enough people to sponsor. So there's that happy medium right there. Okay, number five, you don't want to be dead in the water, right? So this was always my thing. I'm like, okay, if I just do it one more time, I might get the result that I'm looking for. So that means, make another phone call, make another text message, do another message on your Facebook, whatever. Do another one-on-one, do some more OPs, go, get some people to your fund of shares. Go to your trainings.
Say that one again.
Go to your trainings, because they are awesome. You don't want to miss. And, do another jewelry show. I love that Premier has allowed us to have our own personal jewelry show every single month. There is no excuse to have a month where you don't have a jewelry show. It's just crazy to see that list. No shows, no shows, no shows. I'm like, what? Do a show. You can do your own show. So I love that. Okay. Years ago, Randy Draper said something that I will never forget. The Drapers are my grandparents in the business. He said,
awesome?
yes, that's amazing. He said that Satan does not want us to be doing this Premier business. He is the one that is trying to discourage you and wants you to quit. So just remember that when you're thinking about quitting, who's put that idea in your head? It's Satan. So by quitting, Satan wins. And I know I don't want him to win, do you? No, would be the answer. So do something daily to keep your business open and active. Okay, number five, don't abandon your ship. So you just got to push through the difficult times And the most difficult times in life mature us, as we all know, and it builds our character, and we're stomping our feet and don't always want that to happen, but what comes out when God squeezes you? You know, is it Christ-like? And when these times are tough like this, it's God that's molding your life and your character, and you have to let Him. So stop resisting. Okay, you want to keep the course. This is number 6. So be consistent. And I've heard this over and over, years and years. I still don't think this has changed at all. The only way to really build a true business is to do 6 to 8 shows in a month, because that's going to get you in front of a lot of people where you can share your opportunity and sponsor 7 to 9 new jewelers every single year. Or if you want to put events on there too, you know, like vendor events, or, you know, the OPs are fun to share, 8 to 12 events on your calendar, you know, every single month. Now really, when you calculate that, that is only 24 to 36 hours a month away from your family. So it's very doable, and it's going to add thousands of dollars to your income every single year. So it definitely works, and it's going to keep your momentum going rather than having to start from scratch, you know, every other month or whatever. It's a lot easier to keep it rolling and going. I can tell you this honestly too, that in 23 years I have never had a month where I didn't meet my $300 CV. So never miss that, you know, commission check. And
some people don't know what that means. So.
okay. Well, when you're in Premier and you have even one person or a downline underneath you, in order to receive your commission check for that month, you need to submit 300 CV, which is commission volume, meaning if you had a $600 show, 300 goes to Premier. That's the CV. So you have to have that in that month in order to get that commission check. And if you don't, you just don't get the check for that month. But, you know, why would you let that money not come to you? So, yeah, it's definitely a motivator once you have people in your downline to be able to do that, you know, every single month.
So your leadership's not going to the beach. And not working.
And not working, exactly. So, okay, number 7, vision. Remember, all great leaders had a great vision, and when they sailed their ship of experience, even though they might have been going through a lot of storms themselves, they've always maintained their course and commitment. So think about, where do you want to see yourself in 6 months' time, a year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? You know, just don't look at next week. You got to, you know, get a bigger vision for your business. Number 8, land ho. Looky there. Okay, that would be your future. So you need to focus on the future. Don't worry about what happened in your business, you know, last week, last year, whatever. It's already done and over with. You got to move forward and don't focus on that. So focus on the present and plan and look forward to your future. But you have to start planning it now. So again, think about what you want to accomplish this whole entire year. Wasn't that on the little sheet? One of the, yeah. What do you want to do by rally? So that was fun. What do you want to do by year's end? Okay, number 9. Did I miss a number?
We're on number 9.
We are? Okay. I don't know what happened to 10. It's not on my page. Okay, 9 is believe. What you believe in is always going to impact your character and your actions and your attitude. So do you really believe in what Premier has to offer you, or do you really have belief in what Premier has to offer people that you know? You know, if it's good enough for you, it could be good enough for anybody else that's, you know, crossing your path. But you have to believe in the purpose, the philosophy, our product, our marketing plan, the guarantee, the home office. It's all right there for you. So one of the things that I did too, just to gain more confidence in what Premier had to offer, was I sat down and I listened to a lot of marketing plans from a lot of other companies, just to see how did Premier, you know, really compare. And if you do that, you have to do it for yourself. Otherwise, you just really won't know. But it is amazing at the difference between all those other direct sales companies and what Premier has to offer. So we really are with the best company out there. And if you incorporate these things into your Premier business, like I have over the years, you too will have this attitude that you never ever want to give it up, you know, even when times can get tough. So here's a little challenge. Don't just have an attitude of, oh, I'll try, you know, and see how it goes. Remember, Premier works if you work. So you can't just say try. You just have to go out and do it. And then pray for your business daily and ask God to put ladies in front of you that need the hope that Premier can bring them. And then think about this. Will your level of commitment allow you to really work your Premier business? So Premier could be your voyage of a lifetime. And I wish you all fair winds and following seas, which means a safe journey and good fortune.